The grand lobby of Blackwood Enterprises gleamed under the golden morning light, polished so flawlessly that it reflected the towering marble pillars like a mirror. But the real heartbeat of the place wasn't the glass ceilings or the mahogany desks, it was the quiet, unassuming man pushing a mop across the floor. Elias. He was in his late 50s, tall but slightly hunched, his dark eyes carrying the kind of heaviness you only see in someone who's seen too much life. People walked past him every day without more than a polite nod. But Elias noticed everything, every hurried glance, every whispered argument, every sigh that echoed down the halls after midnight. This morning, however, something unusual caught his attention. Across the lobby, leaning against the reception desk with an uncharacteristic slump, stood Claire Blackwood, the CEO herself. Normally, she was a woman of steel and grace, the kind whose heels clicked like a metronome of authority. Today, her hair was slightly messy, her eyes shadowed with exhaustion. She was holding something small in her palm. A watch, not the diamond-studded Cartier she usually wore, but an old, battered wristwatch with a cracked face and frayed leather strap. Elias could see her thumb running over the glass again and again, almost absently. Without looking up, she muttered, almost to herself, "Greater than, if you can resurrect it, I'll let you steal me away." Her tone was sarcastic, half bitter, the way people speak when they know the impossible will never happen. Elias paused his mopping. "What did you say?" She looked up, startled, as if realizing she'd spoken out loud. "It's nothing. Just an old watch. Doesn't work anymore. Belonged to someone She trailed off, shaking her head. "Forget it." He walked over slowly, wiping his hands on his faded uniform. "May I?" She hesitated but handed it over. The leather felt soft, worn in by years of someone else's life. Elias turned it over in his hands, studying the back. There was an inscription, "Until the last tick, I'm with you." He didn't say anything about it, just nodded slightly. "You know it's broken, right?" she said with a faint smirk. "It's been dead for years. I've tried every repair shop in the city. No one could fix it." Elias glanced at her with a calm, almost amused expression. Maybe they didn't know how to listen to it. That night, after everyone had gone home, the lobby was silent except for the gentle sound of Elias at work. But instead of mopping, he sat in the janitor's small back room with the watch under a single desk lamp. From an old wooden box, he took out tools, nothing fancy, just tiny screwdrivers, a magnifying glass, and a little oil bottle. He worked patiently, carefully, as if every screw and gear had a story. Occasionally, he closed his eyes and just listened, holding the watch up to his ear as though it might whisper something. When he finally put the back cover in place, he exhaled slowly. The faintest tick echoed in the room. The next morning, when Claire stepped out of the elevator, Elias was waiting in the lobby. He held the watch in his palm, the second hand moving like it had never stopped. She froze, her mouth parting slightly. "How? Some things aren't dead," he said softly. "They're just waiting for someone to care enough to bring them back." Her hand trembled as she took it. She turned away for a moment, hiding the fact her eyes were glistening. "That watch," she whispered, "belonged to my father. He gave it to me the day before She didn't finish, but Elias understood. For a long moment, they stood there in the quiet hum of the lobby, the sound of the ticking watch between them. Finally, Claire looked up at him, her voice softer now, without the armor she always wore. "Greater than, I think I might actually let you steal me away." Elias smiled. Not the polite nod of a janitor to a CEO, but the kind of smile that comes from two strangers suddenly realizing they're not strangers at all.